Hey UKBills Mafia, this is Christian Wade of your Buffalo Bills. This is the Red, White, and Buffalo Blues, a UKBills podcast with your hosts, Matt and Alex. Let's go, Buffalo! Woo!
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Red, White, and Buffalo Blues, a UK Bills podcast, Bills news with a UK twist. 1996 was our last playoff home game, last playoff home win. 2021, their streak is over. We have gone to the next round with a great, hard-fought victory over the Indianapolis Colts. Now, you will notice that I'm on my own today. Alex is either hungover. He claims he has a sore throat, but he's probably hungover from all the screaming and shouting. And I mean, how many of you guys out there are exactly the same? How many of you are still recovering from last night? I mean, I have to admit, I've been confident all through the season. Yesterday, I was up and down like a roller coaster. My heart was still beating until right at that end, I was there actually on the edge of my seat, actually praying that we make a stop, we make a play. And my God, Micah Hyde, we just love you. We love you for making that play. As soon as that Hail Mary came up, I thought, oh, shit. Here we go. This is not going to end well. We'll probably lose this game, and then it'll be another year of hurt. But no, Micah Hyde got up, slammed it down to the ground, and that was that. We move on to face either the Steelers, the Ravens, or the Titans. Preference, in order, probably say Steelers, Ravens, Titans. I think that should be the order. I think we can beat all three teams. We can get to the division, the championship game, but to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And at this point, the Steelers are the number 3 seed, so they should be the best of the best. And you need to knock those guys out. Let the Chiefs worry about the Ravens and the Titans. Maybe one of those will be the team to knock them off and give us a championship home game. But it's the Steelers for me. I mean, you just look at that game. I mean, obviously, apart from that very, very poor refereeing decision by the ref, I mean, how can you call that down by contact when you could fit a double-decker bus from underneath Pascal's knee to the ground? I mean, seriously, I think even Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles combined could actually see that. I mean, there's nothing like trying to actually even it up. But come on, come out and publicly admit that, yes, you've got it wrong, rather than going this. We couldn't see any piece of evidence that he wasn't down by contact. As I say, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles could see that. They'll probably rewrite the rule book. They'll probably sing songs about it, but they could see that. They could see, even though they're blind, they could see that he was down by contact. But hey, the Colts played us hard, played us well. And to come out of that game shows that we don't just win the big games. We can put points on teams, but we can win that close game. And I'm joined in a while by Harrison from the Colts UK to discuss this game from the Colts point of view, from the Bills point of view. And it's going to be fun. I mean, it's a game which I said that we would win comfortably. We didn't. No shame in that. But it's probably the best game of the season. I mean, Josh Allen is 17-0 when he actually throws and rushes for a touchdown in a game. I mean, Tyler Bass, he's tied the record the playoff record for a rookie, the 54-yard field goal, which in essence won us the game. He tied Steve Christie for the team record of 54 yards in a playoff game. I mean, Josh Allen is the only quarterback in NFL history in the playoffs to throw for 300 plus yards, to have 70% plus completion percentage and rush for 50 yards. I mean, this is a guy who's whose trajectory is only going skyward. I mean, I'm going to break it down a bit more. I'm going to do a bit of Alex and add a few stats in here. I mean, being pressured in that game, he was pressured for 21.6% of all his dropbacks. Josh Allen goes 19 for 26, 271 yards and 2 touchdowns when he had time of 2.5 seconds or more to throw that ball. Now, if that doesn't show how solid this O-line is in pass protection, nothing will. On the run, he was 7 for 9 for 117 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown, I mean, how the hell did he actually manage to get that? Bumped into his own offensive lineman, then does a shot put throw to wide open Dawson Knox. I mean, unbelievable. It shows he's got the kahunas, shows he's got the awareness and the skill on there, and shows that he is going to be that franchise quarterback for the Bills for years to come. In the slot, he's 13 and 13 for 194 yards. Deep targets to Stephon Diggs, 3 for 3 for 92 yards on deep targets. And this is a guy that everyone said had issues with accuracy. But you can see that this is how Allen has actually progressed. And you either give credit for Jordan Palmer, the way he's actually coached him up and actually improved his technique. You can credit Brian Dable for suiting that playbook to his needs, and also even to Ken Dorsey. I mean, Ken Dorsey, Matt Barkley, you can attribute them to how he's actually how they've really brought him up, really got him from that rookie out of Wyoming who was 7th overall pick, who was a 3rd quarterback taken over Lamar Jackson, who ended up last. But the trajectory just gets higher and higher. And I mean, the Colts played us well. They played that defense well. Why we ran it 11 times, I have no idea, especially with Allen on those draws and scrambles. I mean, I don't know you, but I was actually screaming at that TV. I was screaming at the game for that. But it just shows he's got that composure. He can read that field, hang in there, and actually make those plays. I mean, it's going to be bad that we potentially have lost Moss for the season, for the rest of the playoffs, actually. He's got a high ankle sprain. It's going to obviously be game by game, depending on how far we progress. But that's going to be a big miss in there. But then it's the defense. What's actually happened there? I mean, this is a defense that was that in the last 4 games were actually getting there to becoming that elite. Our run defense got a little bit better. I mean, we got gassed by Hines in that 4th quarter, but we held Jonathan Taylor, who rushed for 254 yards last week, to only 78 yards on 21 carries. But we let Rivers take us on. Rivers went arm for arm, or not power-wise, but he went throw to throw with Josh Allen and put up some good numbers that even shocked me. And also, we couldn't get that pressure. Now, was it because of the Colts O-line was actually that good? Which, to be honest, they have got some really good players on that offensive line. Or are we still trying to get that pass rush sorted? I think that's something that definitely needs work on. But how we can look forward to this? We can look forward to, as I say, facing probably Steelers, Titans, or Ravens. Each of them, We've played the Steelers and Titans this season. We know what to expect on there. Titans this time will not have an excuse of having 25,000 days off before they actually play us. We don't have to worry about planning for two teams in a few days who we're going to play. Steelers, we know we can take care of them. Ravens may be the other wildcard factor in there, but we've got the defense in place. I mean, yes, we were picked on quite a bit by Philip Rivers. I mean, Michael Pittman, I expected he actually led the Colts on there. We kept T.Y. Hilton quiet. We kept Hines, who was great in the back, out in the backfield for the Colts. We kept them busy. It's one of those games where you bend, don't break. You may have a good in one aspect, you don't have good in the other, but we got the win. That's all that matters. We've seen progress on both sides. We know this self-defense is coming there, is gaining momentum, gaining traction, becoming dominant again. Maybe it is a case game by game. We maybe excel at the pass defense. We may struggle against the run, vice versa. Maybe that will be the case, and maybe that will be going forward. But as long as we've got Diggs, Beasley, Brown, Gabe Davis, Josh Allen all on the field, this offense can really, really explode. Now, that is my quick review on that one. I'm gonna bring in Harrison now, and we talk. You may know Harrison obviously for our preview show and all that. We talk the game, how Frank Reich mismanaged, made some bad calls here, and obviously what he thought from a Colts perspective of the game. I thought from the Bills perspective. It was a great chat. You guys are going to enjoy this, so enjoy my chat with Harrison from the Colts UK. And we're joined on the red, white, and Buffalo Blues by Harrison once again from the Colts UK. Harrison, thank you for joining me. And I bet are you happy or are you upset, or what's your general mood after yesterday's game?
I'm just proud of my team. You know, coming into this game, everyone had written us off, and Buffalo were going to blow us out, and this is where the Colts were going to get exposed. And if it weren't for a few risky play calling situations, you know, it could have been different. But
yeah,
I can't say I'm mad. Big shout out to the Buffalo Mafia, the Bills Mafia, in the stadium. You know, it sounded amazing. Wish I could have been there. But
I think most of us did. I think Alex did, to be honest. I think he was actually jumping at the bit. I know he had a couple of his mates, I believe, that got tickets. So I think he was kicking himself even more on that one.
Yeah.
But I will admit that I think I said it in the preview podcast. I said it on the Shant NFL when me and you were on there with the guys that the Bills would rack up the points on there based on the last three games. And I will eat humble pie on there. I actually didn't know it was going to be that close and that nerve-wracking. I mean, I got my leg embraced up on a buffet. I was literally on the edge of that buffet, my leg up, actually just praying right at the end that the time would expire on there. But I'd say it was a really good game, two really good teams. And I mean, I say your 11-5 records, you wouldn't know you were 11-5 team the way you actually played. And as I say, I've seen the other games yesterday, and obviously we've got a few more games tonight. But that, I believe, is probably the benchmark for this wildcard weekend of the best game.
Yeah, the art's frustrating and fans can come at me for this, but barring Green Bay, the Colts are the best team in the NFC as well. I think the AFC is just another level above the NFC at the minute.
Yeah.
So I think if you stick us in any of them other two games, we win.
And it does show that the whole of the AFC, all 11 win teams or 11 plus win teams. Whereas I think it was, what was it? It was the Bucks, Packers, Saints and was it Seattle that were only double-digit win teams, or maybe the Rams. So the strength and depth there is unbelievable, and I think this year will be an AFC win again in the Super Bowl.
I do.
To be honest, the one stat that actually really got to me here was obviously about the Colts, and they were the first team to lose a playoff game in history, 450 total yards and 0 turnovers when teams were 11-0 before that. So you've actually ruined that streak. But it just shows how the wild card game is what it is. It's wild card. Anything really can happen.
Yeah, and I'd like to see, them teams that have got 450 yards and gone to win and whatever it is. I'd like to see who they were playing, because I doubt they was all playing Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I think it is a case that obviously different eras and all that. So obviously that's why stats like these, and obviously the Phil Rivers, he was 4-0. He's now 4-1 in wild card. These stats really are kind of meaningless, because obviously as time goes on, the evolution of the NFL, the offense and defense really change. But it's still a stat that I don't think any fans want to really be proud of on there.
No, and I'm one of these guys, right? You can have as many stats as you want. I talked a little about this with Alex when he came on our YouTube show, and I was saying, you can have any stat you want, but there's always time for a first, and there's only one stat that matters. In 10 years, if you guys go on to win the Super Bowl, in 10 years, everyone will be like, what a great team that Buffalo team were.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. But if you guys lose to, I think you've got either Tennessee or
It'll either be Tennessee or Pittsburgh. We play the highest seed left. Kansas will get the lowest seed. So Kansas will either get Tennessee, Browns, or Ravens. We'll either get Pittsburgh or Tennessee or Ravens if Ravens and the Browns win on there. But it's
only that one start that matters, isn't there? If you win, it's like, I'm an Arsenal fan, so back in George Graham days, we was a boring Arsenal because we won every game 1-0. But we still won things. If the Colts went through the next season and won every game by 3 points and we won a Super Bowl, does anyone actually fucking care how we won it?
No, exactly. The only thing that matters to say is the score on in this case on the games in the bottom of the screen. But we go on to the game. I mean, I think what we've discussed is trying to. The good thing about it, obviously, Colts really controlled the game a lot more. Obviously, possession-wise, they had 34 minutes of it compared to 25 on there, and that was good. I mean, I think I called out and said to try and stop the run and see what Rivers can do, and I think Rivers must have heard me, because he actually, I think he may have called me out on that. I mean, from 254 yards to only 78 on yards on 21 carries, I think that showed that the Bills had the game plan on there. Obviously, Hines ripped us in the fourth quarter for it, but it shows that they wanted to make Rivers pass. And I just want to know that to you, was that good? Do you like that, or would you want to see him just continue with the run, even though overall only gained you 160? Well, between Hines and Taylor, only gained you really 163 yards.
When we come into this game, it was Colts run, Bills pass. That was what was going up against, and just because it was strength versus strength, our running attack is better than our passing attack.
Yeah.
But what I think shocked everyone, Philip Rivers come out to throw, and you guys blitzed a lot more than we did, and it actually hurt you a lot blitzing. And Philip Rivers looked like the quarterback we signed, not the quarterback that appears every now and then still. So it was nice to see. I didn't think Philip Rivers had that sort of performance in him still. I thought, probably a bit too old, but
yeah, I
that
think
loss wasn't on Philip Rivers.
no. I think you were right earlier when you say it was coaching decision. I mean, what was it? You left, was it about 10 points on the
Yeah,
off the board on that one? I mean, that doink kick by Blankenship. But
I could sit here all day and what really annoyed me about the Colts Twitter, and I called out Frank Reich's play calling half-heartedly, a little bit jokey. I said, does Frank Reich still support Buffalo? Because I understand he's a great head coach. And when it actually it's settled and you look at the situations, you have to go for it. Then 4th and 1s, you have to go for it. You have to. It's playoff football. You have to take your chances. So for me personally, people making mistakes, Blankenship, rookie. Jonathan Taylor, rookie. Michael Pittman, rookie. I expect them guys to make mistakes. People I don't expect to make mistakes, Frank Reich. This is will be going into his 4th year as head coaching. I expect him not to make them mistakes, but he did. That's football. What I hated to see was, the Colts Twitter was so quick to try and throw this team to the dirt when we went down. I think it was 21-10 or something like that at one point. And honestly, it was like we died, and if we had turned up and we were shit, I understand it. But
came out the gun, gun
and it
blazing.
Baffled me to instantly as soon as we lost that game. Oh, the Colts need to go and draft a QB. We need to move up in the draft, and it's like, just hang on a minute.
Exactly.
Chill out, take a breath.
You've got the pieces are there. I mean, your O-line obviously is awesome. You've obviously got Nelson in there. You've got that strength in there. You're kind of like us. You've got barely any holes to or major needs to fill in there. You've got a good rookie coming through in Pittman. You've got 3 quality tight ends, dependable tight ends. You've got Jonathan Taylor in there. You've got T.Y. Hilton. Sorry, I was going to say Yelton. But you've got the basis there, and say your defense, you've got base there. You haven't really got any major needs really. So having that late pick is still going to be good. That you can go in there and probably go best player available.
Best player available, but I reckon we'd take a left tackle in a draft. Costanzo's being out in that game really did cost us. He is massively influential. Probably left tackle, maybe pass rusher. It just depends. But, it's disappointing because that would have been a fantastic divisional game.
Exactly.
Conference game. And I think both teams, we both deserve to be past the wild card. It was just... Oh, man, it was a fantastic game, and I can't hate on it. And one thing I did see, and I picked it up straight away, someone was like, oh, the refs screwing us. This was that toe tap catch that he got.
Drag swag.
Yeah. And it baffled me because the refs were awful, but they didn't cost us a game. It was definitely a fumble. I don't know how we got away with that one. They
came out on Twitter, the NFL officiating Twitter page, saying we could see no evidence to overturn that he was down by contact. You could probably fit a bus underneath his knee in the ground.
We got lucky with that one.
But no, I think
it's
to me,
and roundabouts.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think the obviously you're saying is Frank Reich's playing calling. I think the one that really would have bothered me if I was a Colts fan is obviously that you got the touchdown, you had the chance for the extra point. I believe there was a neutral zone infraction or offside or anything like that. Then you go take the 2 points. I can understand him wanting to be aggressive on there, but you still kick that point, and the way your offense and defense have been working, you're still only a score, maybe you're in 8 points behind. So next time you can go get that 2-point conversion. I think that really did hurt, in my opinion. And I was there thinking to myself, right, you should have probably kicked that point regardless on that.
I think my big gripe with it is if we kick that point, Blankenship's feeling himself a bit more. We kick the field goal.
Yeah.
You know, and that was my biggest gripe with that. I think we weren't chasing the game at that point. There was still loads of time left. We didn't need to do it, essentially. But this is why Frank Reich gets paid the millions.
Yeah.
He has to take them chances, and if he doesn't take them chances and you still win 30, 28, 27, everyone's going to be like, why didn't he go for 2?
Yeah, exactly.
Hindsight Henry, me and my co-host Xavier, we call them hindsight Henrys. You see them all over Twitter.
Yeah.
I was like, we should have kicked it, but
I mean, you're right. It's the playoffs. You've really got nothing to lose, everything to gain. I mean,
yeah.
I think we tried to go on a couple of 4th downs ourselves. We got lucky. We managed to draw an offside for the first down.
Yeah. That was the one.
That's going to happen.
That was the one annoyingly thing that pissed me off. That was it, because it was obviously gonna be try and draw an offside. It wasn't gonna do the play, but
yeah,
then you can't. You know, if you make a mistake, you can't hang your head on it. You have to get on with the game, because
exactly.
So, you know, there's going to be people out there. Oh, the Colts need this. They did this wrong. Blah 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 blah. But it was just a good game of football. And sometimes you lose a good game of football.
Yeah, I mean, it sets up well, obviously, for you guys for next season. I mean, hopefully, I guess you're going to look to re-sign Rivers, and actually, and then obviously improve from there. You've got the building blocks in place. Yeah. It's just hoping that you either pass the play calling off to an actual offensive coordinator and have Reich actually just overruling when sees fit, or Reich just has just needs to be a bit more smarter with that play.
Frank Reich is always going to play with his heart, and that's what I love about Frank Reich. He's always going to go for it, no matter the cost. And I know Frank Reich will take that on his chin because he is the head coach. He doesn't mind, you know. It's like when you do a bollock and you stand up and you take it on the chin, you walk on till the next day, you get it over with. So I think he maybe doesn't hand off his offensive play calling, but he gives his offensive coordinator a bit more say.
Yeah.
One person who I'll say really surprised me, I was overcritical maybe at times of him, and that's Matt Eberflus. As you know, on your show, I was very critical of him. Yeah. But he came out and the defense was excellent, and that was down to him. So credit where credit's due. He coached a fantastic game. It was just 1 or 2 calls, but football, innit?
Well, you did get a bit lucky. The ball seemed to want to call a lot more running plays for Josh Allen more than anything. I think that's our only real gripe with our.
Please stress this. After going through what we went through with Andrew Luck, please don't let Josh Allen run it again.
No. I was there on Twitter. I was there going, why the fuck are you doing this? Stop running him, for God's sake. It's unbelievable. I mean,
protect him at all costs. But no, what a fantastic quarterback you got there. Just what a team. I really like what the Bills have built their team around this year. And that's, you know, everyone in. A lot of people said Stephon Diggs would be a problem. He's not.
Yeah.
Josh Allen has had a fantastic year. And, you know, your kicker, wow, 54 yards into the wind.
Yeah.
That, you know, there'll be people who can't kick a 10-yard field goal saying, I could have made that. And it's like, come on.
I think at the beginning of the season, mainly like the first 5-6 weeks, people were calling for him to be cut. But since then, he pretty much been accurate, the most accurate kicker that we've had for a while. And I mean, tying the record, not just a Bills record for a playoff game, but an NFL record for a rookie kicker in a playoff, really shows that he's matured. And I think to myself, would that happen if it was Hauschka still on there? We know he's had trouble with his leg and all that, and the hit he got a couple of years back from whether it was on the Jets. Would he have been able to make it, and would we be in that position going into this game and going into the 54-yarder that we say, Hauschka, go kick it, where we've got Bass, who's easily got the leg on him to do it.
And, you know, again, as soon as Rob Blankenship missed that field goal, you know, I was gutted. Of course I was. He was gutted. I hope he keeps the heads up because he's had a fantastic year.
Yeah.
But instantly, Twitter, and not just troll accounts and fake accounts and just anonymous accounts, but like expert pundits saying, oh, the Colts need to go out and get a kicker, and oh, we need to make him challenge him for his job. And it's like, he's a rookie, just give him a fucking break. He's probably feeling worse than anyone in the world right now, because if he makes that kick, it goes to overtime, blah, 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 you know. So he needs picking up more than ever. But just the Colts Twitter was so willing just to throw him into the dirt, like, oh, fucking give over. It's a game, get over it.
I think it's really easy to put it all on rookies. Yeah. The fact that yes, they're rookies, they're making mistakes. It's easy to do. They shouldn't do that. They should just be. They should be cut, got rid of, benched, and all that. I mean, it's one of those situations where at any point of the season, no matter what position, kicker, punter, quarterback, they make a mistake. You've just got to get up and just go with it, and just full on let it rip, let them develop. That's the only way really to do it. I mean, luckily he didn't get the same treatment that the Bills kicker got back against the Giants in Super Bowl era. I mean, the fact that they hounded him quite a lot, but then the players actually came out and actually really supported him. The fans, most of the fans actually then warmed to him. And it's like, that's what you've got to do. You just can't kick a guy when he's already down, because if it came to it again, he missed the field goal, fans are on his back, players are on his back, he's got 4 seconds left, you've got another 54, you've got a 50-yard thing. You're really going to have him head down thinking, oh, I missed the last one. My fans and my players are actually are annoyed with me. Is he really going to put the effort, and is he really going to score those points?
Exactly. And what I will say about this team and why I'm so proud of him is we overachieved this year. You know, with Phillip Rivers coming in, everyone's like, yeah, they're a good team, but they're probably going to go 8-8. They might not make the playoffs. And just, I would have come on this show pissed off if you had won 34-10.
Yeah.
And, you know, but we really did fight until the last second of the game. And when it comes down to a Hail Mary, and it makes me laugh again, Twitter, I love it. Yeah. You know, everyone taking the piss out of Phillip Rivers not making it to the end zone with his throw. One, he's throwing it high to give his receivers time. And two, I'd like to see these people make a 50-yard throw.
I think when it got to that, and I saw what they were going to plan to do last few seconds, I'm thinking, oh, fucking hell, it's Arizona all over again. And as soon as Micah Hyde actually batted down, I was like, yes, I fucking love you, man. I fucking love you. I would have jumped up and down, but it was one of those moments where I think you probably could hide, a Bills fan probably hiding behind the sofa, hide behind cushions or whatever, eyes closed, thinking, oh, fuck, here we go again. But no, it was a really good game. I think it's probably the best game that's going to happen this weekend. And yeah, both teams should actually should progress. I mean, I guess that you're really going to put that on the Jags loss in the first game of the season. I mean, you win that first game of the season, you're 12-4, and you get the number 4 seed, or you could go a little bit better. But it's small margins, but that's what makes the game really good. I mean, you've hung out with Aaaaand and the Allen raid offense. Obviously, Diggs posting 6 for 128. Gabe Davis 8 for 42 or 4 for 82 yards. I mean, Pittman, you've got a really good wide receiver there, and I think he was someone I did like coming out of the draft, and to get him, what was it, third round, was it?
Second. It was either late second or early third. I think it was late second.
Because Davis was obviously selected after him. Those two really put on the show. I mean, Hilton barely got into the game at all, but you've got the buildings of a good team. Hopefully, you get at least one more good year out of Al Rivers, draft well, and then who knows? It may be Bills, Chiefs, and Colts fighting out for that number 1 seed for the foreseeable. It was a game. I think it had every single emotion, not just for Bills fans, but for Colts fans, probably for the neutral as well, because most neutrals were probably going for the Bills more because obviously how they played and all that, and obviously Colts for the underdog session. But it was a game of small margins, which is good. I mean, as I say, you controlled the possession. The only thing let you down obviously was the coaching, and then your red zone. I think the Bills were 28th in red zone defense. You had 5 attempts in there. You only made 2, which was a touchdown and field goal.
Yeah.
So there were poor decisions in there, but again, that's the experience. That's something that makes everyone stronger. I mean, Allen last year, he was despondent after having that game. He's come back, and this year he's set all records. He's upped his game, upped his completion percentage, and all that skywards. And the only way is up. So it may be a tough loss, but the Colts have got a lot to be proud of this team. And as I say, I would happily have faced them in the divisional or the championship game, because as I say, 11-5 is not really the record that you should have had, and the play this season actually shows that.
Yeah, I can sit here all day and say, what if we beat Jags? What if we don't lose to Pittsburgh when we're 21 up? What if we? And you can do that all day, but in the end, I think it was either you or Alex. I can't remember which one of you said it, but you said we need to get that loss in the playoffs. I think it might have been Alex.
It was Alex. Definitely was Alex on that one.
Yeah, he said why you can see the Colts leading is because they haven't had that loss yet. Like you have last year, you had that loss, and things just seem to fall your way. The sack fumble somehow, your big guys back there to pick it up magically. You get that very. We did get the fumble one. Well, was definitely a fumble, but you get that close pass on the sideline, which could have gone either way. If it was incomplete, it wouldn't have been overturned because it was complete.
The interception that you could have had at the end zone hit the ground first. It was small margins. I mean, the refs hadn't really put himself in glory. No. Not just this game, but the other games this weekend as well. And I think it is small margins that really did it. And hopefully, as Alex said, the loss will be that kickstart. As you say, we know we can hang with the likes of the Bills, or we can hang with the likes of the Chiefs as well. That it's that kickstart, it's that momentum boost to go into the off season, restack, reload, rework out. Hopefully mostly they should be free of COVID or have that so much under control that they can actually do a lot more camp work,
Mhm.
a lot more physical, and obviously preseason games to get that match sharpness. And next season, again, it's all to play for. And I think we mentioned it earlier, the AFC is going to be probably the division for the next few years at least. That's going to be the strongest. And as we've seen, any team can get in there. We can get into the playoff. I mean, Dolphins just missed out. Thank God. We all laughed at that. Them salty Dolphins. But any team, if they go for a run, can actually get into that playoff. And having all 7 teams with 11 plus wins is just shows how good this AFC division is, and how much that one loss, one stupid loss, one bad loss due to a poor decision can actually affect your standing, whether it's getting to playoffs or actually in the playoffs itself.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's why we love the game. The AFC went down to literally the last kick of the Titans-Texans game, and it also went down to the last second of the first wild card game.
Yeah.
Just what I'm going to say now, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass because I'm on here, but the Bills are a better team than the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think
hands down, the Bills are a better team than the Chiefs. You know, they've got Mahomes, they got Kelsey, Kittle. I always get them two mixed up.
Tyreek Hill.
They got a very good air attack, you can say. But that Bills team was fucking special, and what a good team, you know. You made so many stops. It was fantastic to watch.
I mean, it did help that obviously we hung with them. And obviously they gave us our second loss on there, but we hung with them. We knew how to play them, and now this defense and this offense is now hitting a stride. Yeah, but you can have that argument that the Bills are that should be the AFC champions and should be going to the Super Bowl. I mean, this beard is still here, still showing that I've got faith, and hopefully it won't actually won't come off till the 8th of February. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I like Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, he's a generational talent, and he can do some fantastic things. But you look at Allen and Mahomes next to each other. Allen's more mobile. Maybe not scrambling, but getting upfield, he's more mobile.
Yeah.
They both extend plays. That's their strength. But where the difference is Allen extends a play, but he's always looking forward.
Yeah.
He's always going forward. And Mahomes extends a play, but he's running backwards. You look at the Dolphins game, I think it was, and it's the longest sack ever because he's trying to do something spectacular. And I think sort of, you know, if you do come to play KC in the AFC Championship game, I think where you can win is a bit like how we can lose. It was we overcoached ourselves.
Yeah.
I think if Mahomes overplays, he can sort of throw himself out of the game. And I think that's why you'll win if you do come to meet him.
Yeah. So I say thank you very much for coming on the show. Great to chat. I mean, we've had I think it's between us and me and Alex and you, I think it's like the 4th time we've got together and chat. I think the folks are getting a bit. I was going to start wondering what's going on between us on that. But no, it was great to have you. Great to have you on. Great to hear your views. Great to have chat pre-game, post-game, and obviously during on Twitter on the game as well. And Harrison, thank you very, very much for coming on the show.
Honestly, it's a pleasure, and UKBills Mafia.
Okay, we thank Harrison there for the interview there. He's a sound guy. He believes that the Bills should be the favourites. They can go in to beat Kansas City. I'm not disagreeing with that. I think we can go and do that. He was humble, and as I said, the game in that interview, the game is probably going to be the best game this weekend. I mean, two really good teams going up against them. But this is the part that that we like. It's the fans' questions. I don't have access to ask them, so I'm going to be asking and answering them myself on there. So we start on Twitter with good old Dave Thorpe. He goes, "We won. It's freaking awesome, but what the fuck was that? Did we just mess the bed? It's possibly the worst performance since week 7. We were trying to be too clever. And does the ball hate Josh? We're sacrificing him on all the youth quarterback draws. Big win, though." Well, yeah, I mean, there are times where people were probably screaming at the TV saying, don't run, don't fucking run, Josh Allen, on there. And the play designs on a couple of occasions by the ball, you're thinking, are you either trying to lose potential head coaching jobs to stay at the Bills? You can just reject them. That's all you can do. You don't have to sacrifice bad play calling for that. If they offer you the job, you can say, no, I'm happy to stay at the Bills. But I wouldn't say too much that it was our worst performance. I think there was still stuff there. Maybe in a way you have a little bit of that worst performance, but you still saw, and with the stats I read earlier, that Josh still can find that pocket. We can still move. We can still rush. We can still hold this defense. We held probably the best running back in the last 4 weeks to 78 yards. I mean, yes, we got gashed altogether for 169 yards on 30 carries by the Colts, but we managed to nullify it that much that we forced Rivers to actually to throw. And yes, 309 yards he threw, 2 touchdowns. There were holes all over the place. Either that is misalignments, good route running by the Colts offense. I think it shows that we can play tough, we can play these close games, and that will give us confidence. I mean, yes, 25 years is special. It's freaking awesome, and I hope everyone is still recovering, and hopefully that everyone's superstition on what they did last week, they carry on till next week. I mean, this beard, as I say, is not going to go until we lose a game, and that's my superstition. That's been done since the Arizona game. So, I don't think we're being too clever. I think we were just right to actually to do that. So Twitter again, we go with Will Lopez. He goes, "What do you think about the secondary today?" I think the secondary held their own. Yes, they got gashed by Rivers, but T.Y. Hilton, their best wide receiver, was shadowed and didn't really make an impact. Yes, we got gashed a bit by Pittman. Wallace probably left a few times, but we did our job. We restricted them as best as possible. I mean, the safeties, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, they played out their skin. I still believe that we've got our best secondary, even if a 39-year-old Rivers with 2,000 kids can actually gas us for over 300 yards. I think the secondary is right where we want it, and maybe there is that one position, that cornerback 2, that we'll possibly need to look at in the upcoming free agency and draft. Paul Howard, again on Twitter, depending on the injury to Moss, what options will we have for the running game? Well, to be honest, they'll probably reactivate TJ Yeldon, but I'd like to see him give Antonio Williams another shot. I mean, he came up against the Dolphins' strong defense and actually and really found those holes, really showed what he can do, and he's unheralded. No one's got tape on him. No one knows what he can do. I think he could be an X factor if they call him up. Moss, as I say, it's probably game to game. He's got a high ankle sprain, and obviously there's potentially 3 games left. If we get knocked out, then obviously his season's done. But don't think the running game will actually will change a lot. I think if they bring up Antonio Williams, I think he can have that same impact that Moss has, and he showed that against the Dolphins. But it's more likely it'll be Singletary, TJ Yeldon, and then Taiwan Jones. I mean, love to see Williams in there, and no, Christian Wade can't play in the game. As much as we love it, he's unfortunately locked for the practice squad for the season. Maybe next year, but hopefully we can get to Super Bowl. He can get that Super Bowl ring. We move on to Facebook now. David Pope. What news on Moss? As I say, he's got high ankle sprain. He's game to game. Where is blood pressure tablets? I don't know. Probably had them all. I think, to be honest, I think I'd had all mine. Who was my man of the match? Davis, Beasley, Diego. Is that Dimitri Poyet? You mean Poya? No, my player of the game is Gabe Davis. I think for a rookie to come in and play like that, 2 toe drag swags, actually at very crucial times in that drive, and what he's done over the years, he's come on as blocking games. I think he was my player of the match. Why can't we stop the run? Well, again, that's game by game. I think we stopped it well, that we held Jonathan Taylor to 78 yards. Yeah, again, we got gashed by Hines, but we kept him there. We kept it down. We kept it lower than what we've had recently, and we've kept the leading rusher to under 1,000 yards. And why do we miss so many tackles out there? Technique. I think it's either technique. Well, it's got to be technique, to be honest. I think there is a lot of technique on there into making tackles. You grab hold, you keep tackling. I mean, Trey White was one example. He had Jonathan Taylor behind the line, but the way he actually grabbed him, Taylor was able to keep his legs moving and wriggle out of that and gain a first down. If they hadn't gained that, I think they were punted. I think that was fourth quarter possibly, and that we could have actually controlled the game from there. But it's something that I think McDermott will get him to work on a lot in the up and coming week. And I think we need to be a bit more sure on those tackles. Sam P. Scott on Facebook as well. How much longer does Beasley have to give if we make a playoff run? Looks banged up as hell today. I think he's going to be in there. You give him 4 or 5 targets a game, even if it's not for the first half. It's the third quarter, fourth quarter. You give him those. You can manage him game by game. I think he is an invaluable member, but you've also got Diggs, Brown, Davis. You've got Isaiah McKenzie, who I'm shocked didn't have much of a look in that game. You've got the players there to manage Beasley in there. I think if we make that playoff run, I think they're going to be wise with Beasley, knowing that we're probably going to need him for the championship game. That next week they give him maybe 3 or 4 on there, but you can't underestimate. You can't legislate for what he actually brings on those short games in the slot. And he also goes, how on earth was that not a fumble? We clearly saw it. It was a fumble. I don't know what game the officials were watching. I think they may be watching another game completely on there. But yeah, at the end of the day, it didn't make too much of a difference. We had calls go in our favour all the way. That one should have done. We should have cleared that game early. But end of the day, we've got the win. We're through to the next round. Anything's possible. And Matthew Patterson, where is the pass rush? Now, this one I'm a bit worried about. If pass rush is there, they need to disguise it a lot better, or they either came up against a really good offensive line in the Colts. I think it's something that they need to work on, because you're going to face teams like obviously Kansas City, who Mahomes is a mobile quarterback. He can get out there. You need to get that pressure on him. Big Ben, who can stand in there. You've got Lamar Jackson, who can scramble. You need to keep that pass rush going, and obviously Tannehill. But it's something that you're seeing a lot more about from the group. I think it is there, but I think Leslie Frazier, Sean McDermott need to be a bit more creative in guessing it. I mean, we've been getting pressure, but it's just the execution. I think now we're going to go into Pittsburgh. We're going to face Pittsburgh. We need to dial it up a little bit more. I mean, we didn't pressurize. We blitzed more on third down against Rivers, and he totally destroyed us. He totally ripped us apart on there. And for only 17.6% of his dropbacks did we get that pressure on. Maybe it was play calling. Maybe it was good O-line. Maybe it was just the lack of execution. But something along with missed tackles is something that we've got to. That I'm hoping that McDermott actually gets right during this week. So that is all for this show. Once again, a big thank you to Harrison for coming on. Don't forget to spread word of mouth and share button, subscribe, follow, and like us on Facebook and YouTube. Search for Buffalo Bills UK, at UK_Bills on Twitter, at RWBB_podcast on Twitter. Let's enjoy the week. Let's get ready for next week, and let's get ready for a championship game. Hopefully, fingers crossed, at home. But let's get ready for an AFC championship game, and one more step closer to the Super Bowl. It's one not done. 2 more games to go. Come on, you Bills. For me, Matt, it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for listening, subscribing, watching, and let's go Buffalo. Go Bills.